Hello my friends, welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, June 12th, 2018. This is Jennifer. I'm sitting outside in my backyard today, and that can only mean one thing. I finished the Metroid Quilt. I have dubbed this quilt Quilt-Roid. I designed this quilt for a friend of my son's. He knows he's getting it, he just hasn't seen the final quilt yet. By the time you see this, he should have already received it. I know almost nothing about Metroid. I had to rely heavily on my family members to help me with this project because I wasn't sure, really anything. This is not my fandom. I am not a gamer, but I am surrounded by people who are gamers. This is Samus. She is the main character for Metroid, and this is a Metroid. That's about all I can tell you about it, but if you are curious, I'm sure you can Google it and find out everything that you want to find out about it. If there is any interest, I will put the charts that I used for these patterns on Fandom and Stitches. They're literally just graphs. I figured out how much fabric I needed and everything based on how many different colors there were. Samus is made out of 2.5-inch squares, so those are 2-inch finished pixels, so she was like basically 8-bit, and the Metroid is actually made out of 1.25-inch squares. So these are sort of like a 16-bit, so they kind of are from different versions of the same game. I just could not find an 8-bit Metroid that looked really good, because when you blew it up, it was obviously it's super blurry because it's 8-bit. If you're a stickler for that kind of thing, I'm sorry, but I have a feeling that the recipient of my quilt's going to be fine with it. Both of my kids think it's awesome, and if my experts think it's awesome, then I'm happy. I wanted the look of straight line quilting without actually straight line quilting, so I did a big square, very geometric meander, which I'm really happy with. It's not my style at all. I had to doodle it on a couple of sheets of paper just to get the feel of it before I started, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and both of my kids were like I said, they gave me the thumbs up for this. The front is entirely done out of solids, and I use the same background for the entire quilt. The back of the quilt is a Henry Glass batik. I liked it because it looked kind of pixelated, which is why I chose it, and I went ahead and used it on the binding so that it wasn't just black all the way to the edge. I wanted a little bit of color there on the binding, but it's almost a navy blue. It's a blue-black, and then it has the little dots in it, like you'll see. I'll show you the back of the quilt. So it has this awesome like dot fabric going on in the back. And I even included a little Metroid in the label, so I was really pleased. I originally thought I would do some embroidered Metroids on this, and then I was told how big the Metroid needed to be and decided to just scrap that and do it completely differently. So really happy with this, and hopefully by the time you see this, my recipient has received, and hopefully he'll be happy with it too. He's moving very soon with his family, and I just wanted to make sure he had this before he left Austin. I did a little throwback Free Pattern Friday last Friday. I pulled out a design that I did from a drawing that former Talk to Me Tuesdayer Sasha had given me years ago. It was like 2012. Sasha is Terry's daughter. Terry hasn't posted in quite some time, but I'm sure that the majority of you at least know who Terry is. And Sasha had given me this drawing as an inspiration for a paper piece design, and it's inspired by Naruto, so I had put that on Fandom and Stitches, and then it's been just kind of hanging out there for years. So I pulled it out on Friday and I dusted it off and I put it on Sew Hooked, and I didn't change the pattern at all, but I did share some repeats and what it would look like if you made several of those blocks at one time. So I hope you guys get a kick out of that. I don't know how often I'll be doing Free Pattern Friday now that I'm not doing Patreon anymore. I will probably do it when I feel like it instead of trying to do it every Friday, and that'll give me time to just like build up some inspiration again instead of constantly trying to push out new patterns even when I'm not really feeling it. The only other things I have to share with you today are our usual reminders to stop by Fandom and Stitches tomorrow for the Art with Disney Quilt Along with Alita. That's going to be wrapping up pretty soon, and then in July and August we will be having our second annual UFO Quilt Along, so you can pull out your UFOs and start getting some UFOs done, especially if you're working on, you can work on anything you want, but if you want to work on Fandom and Stitches UFOs, we really encourage that, and I'm going to try to pull out some fun prizes because we haven't had any Fandom and Stitches prizes in a while. I think we'll do something in Fandom and Stitches Facebook group for that. The other reminder I have is if you haven't already, please ship your Talk to Me Tuesday swaps. You should have shipped Rainies and Crystals. I have Linus this week weekend. I have 2 quilt tops that were donated that I haven't quilted yet. If I get the chance, I'm going to quilt them. I am going to start in earnest helping my son work on a cosplay. He's doing 2 actually. He's doing one from Persona 5 and one from Okami. The Persona 5 one is mostly thrift store and other pieces that he's put together, and the Okami one we're gonna make pretty much from scratch, and I'm hoping to have him doing a lot of the sewing on that. So I will let you know how that's going as we work on it. That's gonna be all for me. I'm gonna leave you from my backyard, and I hope you like the Metroid quilt. I cannot wait to give it to the guy that I'm giving it to, and you guys have a wonderful week, have a crafty week, and I will see you next week. Bye.